All right, today we're diving into a really powerful and honestly often overlooked tool for making better decisions. And that tool is solitude. So here's the thing. Is being alone your secret weapon, or is it your biggest weakness? I mean, it's a great question, right? Because depending on the situation, being by yourself can either make you laser focused or it can totally mess with your head. And here's the split. You've got chosen solitude, right? That's when you decide to be alone, and it gives you this incredible clarity and focus. It helps you make choices that are actually, you. But then there's the flip side, unwanted loneliness. And that's a whole different story. That's linked to things like cognitive decline, making impulsive choices, basically the opposite. They seem similar, but believe me, understanding the difference between them is everything. Okay, so let's dig into the good stuff first, the solitude superpower. Because when you choose to spend time by yourself, you're not just, chilling out. You're literally activating a kind of superpower in your brain. I mean, just think about it for a second. When you step away from all the noise, the texts, the emails, the social media notifications, what everyone else expects from you, your brain can finally breathe. It gets the space it needs to do some real, deep thinking. And it's in that quiet space that you can stop having those knee-jerk reactions and start finding really solid, thoughtful answers. So, what's actually going on inside your head when you get that quiet time? Well, you're firing up something called the default mode network. Now, that sounds super technical, but just think of it as your brain's internal reflection system. It's this whole collection of brain regions that pretty much only switches on when you're not focused on the outside world. It's the system that lets you look inward. And what's this network actually doing? Well, it's amazing. It's helping you sift through old memories, make sense of really complex emotions, and figure out what you think about new information. But here's the most important part. It's the thing that lets you ask, hey, does this decision actually line up with who I am and what I believe in? It's basically your brain's built-in self-awareness engine. So you're probably wondering, how long do I need to be alone to get all these benefits? You might be thinking hours, right? Nope, you'll be surprised. The research points to a really specific number, and it's probably way less than you think. Just 15 minutes. Yeah, you heard that right. Just 15 minutes. In that short amount of time, solitude can kick off what scientists call a deactivation effect. Basically, it dials down all those intense emotions, the good and the bad, and brings down your tension and anxiety. And what's left? The perfect mental state for clear, rational decision-making. But what happens when being alone isn't your choice? Well, that's when things take a turn. It's not a superpower anymore, it's a trap. And the damage it can do to your judgment is, well, it's pretty severe. And this is so important to understand. Loneliness is not the same as just feeling a bit sad. It's a real state of distress. It comes from unwanted social isolation, and the science is clear. It's directly linked to significant cognitive decline. You see, loneliness really does a number on our ability to think clearly. It attacks our decision-making from every angle. It messes with our general cognitive function. It weakens our self-control so we make more impulsive choices. It totally distorts how we see social situations. And it can even screw up how we assess risks. And get this. This finding from the research is absolutely staggering. When scientists looked at brain scans, they found that lonely people actually have unique neural signatures. This isn't just a metaphor. They aren't just thinking differently. Their brains are literally wired to process the world in a different way than everyone else. And this leads to a really vicious, devastating cycle. The loneliness makes you make bad social calls, which in turn can push other people away. That, of course, leads to even more isolation, which just makes the loneliness worse. And the cycle just keeps going and going and going. Okay, so we've established that choosing to be alone is good for you. But that brings up the million-dollar question, right? Is there a magic number? How much alone time do you actually need to get it right? So, what is it? Is there some magic number for the perfect dose of solitude? I bet you've maybe even heard a number tossed around, like 90 minutes? It has that nice scientific ring to it, doesn't it? But is that actually true? Well, the short answer is nope. It's a myth. There is no universal magic number for solitude. The science is crystal clear on this. It's not about how much time you spend alone. It's about the quality and the purpose of that time. That's what really matters. Instead of one number, think of it more like a toolkit with different tools for different jobs. So that 90 number, That probably comes from the 90 seconds it takes for a big emotional wave, like anger or fear, to pass through your system. Need to get your emotional balance back and think clearly? We already talked about this one. 15 minutes is the sweet spot. And if you're trying to solve a really big, complicated problem, you're probably going to need a good 30 to 60 minutes to get into that deep, focused state.
All right, so we know the why and the how much, but how do we actually do this? Let's get practical. We're going to wrap up with your very own Solitude toolkit, 4 simple steps to help you make better decisions alone.
Okay, step 1, frame it positively. You have to start seeing this time as a choice, as a benefit, not as a punishment. That mental switch is huge. Step 2, act with purpose. Don't just sit there and let your mind wander into worry land. Use the time to think about a specific problem or question. Step 3, schedule it. Seriously, put it in your calendar. Block out 10 or 15 minutes. If it's not scheduled, it's not real. And finally, step 4, check in with your values. Use that quiet time to ask yourself if the choices you're making really reflect who you are.
So I'm just going to leave you with this one last question to think about. You schedule meetings with your boss, with your team, with your friends, right? Your calendar is packed. But when was the last time you scheduled a meeting with yourself? Thanks for tuning in.